Alright guys, back here in the shop this evening with the John Deere 830. Think I've got all my parts to get it back together and at least get it running. Coleman's behind me working on his 873 Bobcat. So I'll probably be jumping back and forth. But I got my new injector line. I've already kind of got it in position in here. I was just making sure it's the right line. I did order the correct one, thankfully. I got us a new spring for our fuel shutoff to return it back to normal. This was the spring that they had just attached to this line. They had it rigged up. Got new fuel line to go between all the return lines on top of the injectors. I got all my pieces to rebuild these T's. Got our new injectors. So we're ready to throw it back together. Oh, I also got a new radiator hose. I have to go to the store and get some coolant here in a little while, and a new valve cover gasket. That was the last thing. But ordered all my parts from Green Farm Parts, greenpartsstore.com. They're like a John Deere dealership online, so if you ever need to order any parts like that, I've bought from them a few times now, and they're pretty quick, pretty easy to deal with. It's about the same price as your normal John Deere dealership, but you know, if you don't want to go by there like me, and most of this stuff they would have probably had to order anyway, so I might as well order it and get it shipped to my door for free. So let's get work. Alright, I think to start with, let's go ahead and get my injectors done, and then I can start buttoning stuff up as I go. So here's our old injectors. Here's a new injector. As y'all can tell, they're identical. I just have to take this T off, and then there's a little rubber gasket seal of sorts. These little rubber rings here, they go inside these little T's. This is a John Deere part number R79605. This is basically the same on all the like 30, I assume 40 series tractors. I know my dad, M's 2630, has the same thing. These are just Chinese injectors, but we've had good luck with them. They're like 30 bucks a piece versus 120 through Deere. So we're gonna try them anyway. I'll keep the old ones because they were still working, but I was just gonna go ahead and put new ones in. So we've got our old injector and our T-line here. I'm just going to take that loose and go ahead and rebuild it on the bench here. Make it a little easier on me. Channel locked. You got to kind of be careful with these things. I know I tried to do one on my dad and M's one time, and I ended up busting it. They are just aluminum, so just have to be careful with them. They just screw apart. Only thing that seals them is that little rubber washer in there. So this is just a little hollow piece. And then this thing's gonna be a booger to get off. Is that the original rubber's just stuck down in them. Like I said, the rubber piece is actually down in here. I'm gonna grab a. Here's our old rubber piece. If that shows up on camera, I'm seeing this better days. Grab my new one. I'm just gonna take and clean our old caps out a little bit with some brake cleaner. Just to get trash out of them. Same thing with our turn lines. Just gonna put my little rubber piece down in my cap here. And I use this thrust penetrating oil. It's a good lubricant. It's good for rubber. I'm gonna slide this on there. Slide it down on this little stem. Then I'm going to take this piece. Trying to get these things from cross threading. It can be interesting. I'm just going to hold the stem with the pliers and just tighten this thing up. And that washer just squeezes it down in there. I'm not gonna tighten it too tight until I get it on the machine, just because I may have to change the location of it slightly. But that's our installed injector T on John Deere 830. My injector stuck in here. I'm just gonna give it a little tap. All right, our injector is in place. I'm trying to figure out here what I've done. Here's my bolt. This spacer goes underneath this. And then these little, whatever these pieces are called, they go around the stem of the injector. This process can be a little fun. Turn my T a little bit so I can get a ratchet in there. I think that's a 1/2 inch. 13mm or a 1/2 inch. She's good and tight. Straighten our T back up. And that injector, as soon as I tighten this, put this little boot off. Put our return line back on there. Or this isn't a return line, this is the actual fuel line. OSHA violations. I'm violating right now. Probably several. I think the suspended load just had hydraulic force over the So this one injector is completely done now. I'm gonna go ahead and get these other two T's rebuilt and get the injectors in, and then get all the inlet lines hooked up, and then I'll get back. All right, our 3 injectors are in. Everything's tight. Still got to tighten my lines here, but I'm gonna leave them loose until we start bleeding the pump, because we'll have to bleed them. I got this. This is fuel line from Deere. It's supposed to be exactly what we need for this. It's a 3/16 fuel line. I'm gonna cut her off, install these. Hopefully we'll not have any leaks for a long time. That is the goal. Again, I'm going to spray a little of this thrust at the end of these so that they'll go on there a little easier. These aren't supposed to have a clamp or nothing, so this will be just a press fit. Everything is on here. I got everything tight other than the few bolts that we're going to have to bleed with. I got to get the starter put back on over there. I'm going to get the valve cover sealed up here. Got to get my radiator hose on to go get some coolant. Got my valve cover flange cleaned up. I got the surface for the valve cover gasket pretty well cleaned up. Need to clean it off just a hair more. Took a scraper, scraped all the old gasket off, and this is just some brake cleaner on a rag. Just kind of clean the surface up a bit. This new gasket ought to clean it, ought to seal good. This is it's like a metal formed gasket with like a silicone type texture, so it ought to seal really good. Fits right up, just like a glove. Hopefully it ain't too loud in here. Coleman's got the heater on. It's a little cool in here. Got one of my holes lined up. I'm gonna get it down in there and get it started. It's got these little bolts with a washer to fit down in the valve cover. Just installed a blow-by tube. There's no ring down in here. It just slides down in, and there's a bolt down here that tightens up to hold it in place. Next thing, I'm gonna put my new radiator hose, lower one. And we just went and picked up some antifreeze. I got it over here on the ground. Get it in there. I still got to put my starter on there, and then we'll bleed everything out. Try her out.
This episode, how big of a mess can Luke make? How big of a mess can Luke make?
It'll all just depend on if I got any leaks down there. If I ain't got no leaks, then I ain't gonna make a mess. If I got leaks, then I'm gonna make a heck of a mess. Let's get our starter thread back on here. And this old girl will be ready to fire, I think. I hope so, anyway.
On that fuel pump that I break off.
This one or that one?
Yeah, I dropped pump. Maybe water. That was hydraulic pump leaking, but I think it's water.
It's very possible.
That's water. These pumps Bosch.
All right, starter's back on. Someone's already checked it, but we have oil. Gotta get our fuel bled back, and she'll be ready to fire at will, I think. Gonna loosen our bleeder screw here, which is not a 3/8, I think.
Leg's got fuel here.
All right, mine's loose. Oh yeah, wow.
Already got it.
Oh yeah, squirting like a. I'm not gonna say what on YouTube. All right, so I'm leaving my top of my three injector lines where they go into the injector. I'm leaving those loose so that we can bleed it as we crank.
Alright, just leave it straight pipe. Straight pipe for the people. I need a bit here. Straight pipe.
Oh, they go better here either way because the dang mic's right here on my chest.
Probably need to pop the door. I guess we can.
Start two on this one. Let's start two on that one too. All right, so for what we're looking for, we've got these three lines. These are our inlet lines for our injectors. We've got them loose right now. As you can see, I'm gonna spin it over a little bit. You'll see some fuel start to squirt out. You can see it starting to get wet around them. See that one up there just dripped. So once we get to that point, I'm gonna start tightening the lines up. I'll probably leave one loose, tighten two of them up, and then it should start seeing smoke come out of the stack, and it should start to hit. Come on. Give her a shot. Is that? Can you put it in right there? Is there a place there? There's a fire here in a minute.
Huh?
So there's a fire here in a minute.
Not a good shot here, but I can get it.
That's probably enough. Better throttle response. Golly. I thought my eyes were hurting before. Try to get this sucker out of here. Move your radio. I had to move your oil for me to be able to get enough of a turn. I had to move that little blue pan. Move that little blue pan. Probably crush it. That was actually a little easier than I thought. Well, she's officially out of the shop. Seems to be running a little better. I think it'll crank better now. We got a hydraulic issue that I'm going to try to get some equipment to test and fix. I'm not sure if we got a hydraulic pump failing or what, but our steering is very tight and our hydraulics just aren't great. Looks like we got a little bit of an oil leak somewhere. I'm going to have to fix that. I'll figure out where that is here in a minute. But anyway, we got her back together. We can at least crank it and drive it now. So probably gonna be it for this video. Probably gonna wash it up, clean it up good, and get a hydraulic test kit, and then we'll go from there on fixing it. So y'all stay tuned. Appreciate you watching. Have a good one. God bless.